Going to be a writing assignment about a famous American who should be remembered for their legacy. So it needs to be somebody that you feel like made a positive impact on the world. There's two requirements for the person you choose. They need to be an American and they need to be dead. You cannot do somebody that's alive, okay? So it could be somebody as current as Stan Lee, or as old as George Washington, or even before this.
Didn't he leave a legacy?
But it also doesn't have to be an American that's famous. It could be somebody in your family that you feel like made a positive difference in the world. And so you could do that. But you're going to have somebody where you've got research possibilities. Okay, Aiden?
Okay, do they have to be born American?
They do not have to be born American.
There's one where people think that he's like, it was the general of the Confederate Army. I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, but he actually like.
Robert E. Lee?
Yeah, he actually like was a good general, and
He is very controversial, yeah. So that would be a great one. The whole point is you're going to have to make an argument about why your person should be remembered. And right now in the United States, we are big into saying, oh, look at what that person did. They can no longer be remembered as a good American. So you're going to have to make an argument about, oh, maybe they were slave owners, but maybe they did some good things. Maybe they did take the Confederate side of the Civil War, but maybe there were other good things. So it's going to be an argument paper. Okay, Leah.
What if, like, our person didn't really make an impact to the world and made an impact to us?
You can do that, but I want you to talk to me about who that person is. Okay? Okay, Josie?
So, let's say this person was like, we write on somebody who wasn't a good person, but we have them, like, we want them to be remembered because of what they did, so then you can, like, remember not to do that?
Oh. Somebody, like, kind of like the Holocaust, how we remember the Holocaust, even though it was an evil. Let me think about that. I did not set up the assignment that way. I'm not opposed to that. So, you guys, I am debating whether we're going to start this before Thanksgiving. You know, next week is our last full week.
Yes.
And then we have basically one and a half days the following week. And so, and then when you come back from Thanksgiving, we're going to have one day. Have you heard about the remote learning day? Where we're going to have a trial run if everybody stays home on Wednesday. So I need to kind of figure out when's the best time. But I do want you to be thinking about that and mulling that over so that when we do start, you've chosen somebody. And there will be sign-ups. You can only, in each class, you can only choose, only one person can do George Washington, or one person can do Alexander Graham Bell. So we can't have two people doing the same person. So we think, and it's really fun because you could do somebody that made an impact on arts, somebody that made an impact on athletics, maybe Christianity, maybe a missionary, maybe an author. Aiden?
Okay, so, like, a legacy as in, like, what if I wanted to write about that lady who wanted to make Thanksgiving a holiday? Like, she wasn't famous or anything, she just wrote 1 million letters to the White House until they made it a holiday.
So the tricky thing is, I think that this paper is 3 to 4 pages, okay? And so you just have to make sure you can find enough information on that. The person needs to be large enough that you can get enough to fill 3 to 4 pages.
So we're making like kind of like a small.
Yeah, but you're making an argument. You're not just reporting on their life. You're making an argument. All right.
So if you already have your person, you just like all do it.
No.
How do you know someone else is going to do with that?
You just hope. Okay, because I'm not ready to do that. I'm just trying to plant the seed, and your class is so good about asking questions. But right now, just mull it over.
So you could do someone like who died like last year or something?
Yeah. You could. I mean, think about the possibilities. You've got Kobe Bryant. You've got,
I thought about Kobe Bryant.
Who's the guy from Black Panther?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
What Disney Channel actor? What was his name?
Cameron Boyce.
Oh, Cameron Boyce. And I think there's a book on Cameron Boyce. Somebody did it last year. Okay, so you're thinking, but we're not going to arrive at this right now.
Jesus?
No, Jesus was not American.
And he's alive.
I thought you just said Jesus. I'm like, what?
So,
I was about to say that.
okay, So you guys, we are gonna do a little more, oh, let's talk about this. Andrew, are you done? Okay, bring it up here. So, really quickly, let's just talk about these sentence parts. I'm not gonna label it. But what's the subject of this?
Team.
Team, actually I will label it. And what's the verb, Amelia?
What? Oh, lost.
Lost, okay, is there another subject verb pair, Matt?
Yeah,
What is it?
they won.
Excellent, okay. So then, what is on Friday night, Hudson? It's a prepositional phrase. So there's two ways you could have done this. You could have said object of a preposition, adjective, preposition.
What?
Okay? Or
I just
you
wrote-
could have done this and said
You flipped it over.
adverbial prepositional phrase.
That doesn't make sense. On can't be an object of the preposition.
It's preposition.
Oh,
Ha ha ha.
Wait, I was supposed to say that as an adverbial.
Andy?
Oh my goodness.
I didn't label it as
Isn't
an
that wrong?
adverbial.
Oh, no, I didn't do
brackets.
Okay, stop. I'm telling you, there's two ways you could do it. One is, and actually you could have said an adverb phrase or prepositional phrase, because I'm gonna know where you diagrammed it. So you could have broken it into pieces, or you could have just said this whole thing was a prepositional adverb phrase. Okay, what is the in basketball, Becca? What parts of speech?
Adjectives.
Adjectives describing
Team.
team. And Josie, what's almost?
An adverb.
Describing
Lost.
lost. And then what is to their top rival, Mariah? So again, you could bracket and say adverbial prepositional phrase, or you could have said preposition, adjective, object of preposition. Okay? What's but, Charlotte? Coordinating conjunction. Ian, what's ultimately? Adverb. Okay, so you guys got that? And you should have done, your diagramming should have been something like this. Team lost, but they won. And the really tricky part on this is that under lost, the basketball, under lost you've got on
Oh, I messed up.
Friday night.
oh yeah, no, that's zero. Thank you.
When did they almost lose?
The team. Team.
I'm so confused.
Okay, you guys, I am clearly being dyslexic about my grammar today. Okay, so quit, and it doesn't help if there's a lot of chatter in the background, okay? So on Friday night, answers an adverb question. It's going to go under lost. It answers when. To their top rival answers the question how. How did they lose? To their top rival. So you should have done to rival, their top, and then ultimately describes one. Josie?
So I just have a question like about grammatical stuff. So when you put like ultimately and then have a comma after, why do you do that? Like,
Just because it's an ly. Because this is, yeah. And it's an optional comma,
okay.
okay? Amelia?
So, how come, like, put it on, Friday night? Couldn't that go under one? Cause like, when did they win on Friday night? So there's like a comma.
Yeah, but it technically is part of this clause that comes before the coordinating conjunction, okay? Charlotte?
So for to your top rival, could you put it under team because it's also answering, which one did it lose to the top rival?
But the key thing is you couldn't say which team to their top rival. You're still saying the lost.
Which team did they lose to the arbitrary top rival?
But Mariah, it is distracting, okay? But you can't say, if it was adverbial, team, you would say which team, which, what kind, how many, whose. So which team? You can't say which team did they lose to, because now you're pulling the verb in. And it's because of the verb. And you guys, this is just a general rule of thumb. I'm sure there's exceptions, but when you have a verb and there is a prepositional phrase that comes right after the verb, it is almost always an adverbial prepositional phrase, okay? Okay, Andrew.
So, do we have to label every single adjective on there? Because I knew there was some more, but I thought we just were supposed to.
Yeah, you were supposed to label each part of speech, but what I was saying is if you bracketed this and just said that that was a prepositional phrase or an adverbial, I would accept that too. Okay, Leah?
Will you count my whole entire sentence off if I forgot something?
No, you'll get partial credit. Okay, now part of why I wanted to do this is just preparation for your test on Tuesday, and that's why I'm going over it right now. Josie?
This is a bit off topic, but why is the word masks written on the board?
That was because I wanted somebody to ask me about this. Have you gotten this talk from your teachers today?
No.
Really? Really? I'm the first one to say this?
I don't know what it's about.
Okay, so here's the thing. It is very apparent to the teachers that many people are not wearing their masks correctly. Okay? This is not.
You're not wearing your mask correctly.
I'm making eye contact with some people. Okay, this is not correct.
Matt,
And because we're coming in, no, we're not naming people. We're
Hey,
not
Allison.
Hey,
Nose to chin.
what you doing? Matt, sit down.
I wasn't even going to say your name was Andrew.
Okay, so if you do this, now I've already told you this, I just haven't been good about enforcing it. But your name goes on the board, that you've lost your participation point, and then the second time you will go down to the office, but you won't just sit outside the office, you'll lose your next break.
But what
Oh.
Okay?
can they do, like, I don't know. Like, what is that punishment gonna be? Like,
I don't
what
know.
is Mrs.
Here's what we want it to do. We want you to wear your mask correctly because do you know, I don't know if Greensboro Day has gone home, but Wesleyan has gone home, High Point Christian has gone home. Has Greensboro Day gone
If you
home?
play winter sports or Greensboro Day, you have to do it.
school has gone home.
Okay, so we are a very, very small minority of schools that are meeting, and we haven't had to send anybody home. We have not had any clusters. This is really important. So we hate them. Let's just agree, we hate them. But we all need to cooperate and keep them up, okay? So I'm gonna be really strict about enforcing that. Okay, now we're gonna move on to this worksheet, remote learners, good versus well. And remote learners, you need to circle the title of this worksheet for your participation grade. So good versus well is often misunderstood. Andrew, are you missing something?
don't you have to circle it? I wasn't handed that.
Okay, there you go. Okay, some of you are doing this. This is part of your homework that I think you'll get done, and you're just going to have one more worksheet. But I want to go over this because people misuse it often. So Charlotte, I'm going to have you read good as an adjective. That's our first point that you need to remember. Good is always an adjective. Can you read that real loud?
Wait, like right here.
Uh-huh.
Use good to modify nouns like pronouns. We saw a good movie last night. Mary is a good self-help. Also use good to describe the way someone or something is. You look good, that is good.
Okay. So if you notice, you look good, that's a linking verb. Tastes is a linking verb. And so those are predicate adjectives. So just know, whenever you see the word good, like if somebody says, well, no, I won't use that as an example. Good is an adjective. That's the takeaway.
I thought good was a banned word.
It is a banned word. However, you are going to read sentences where you still have to identify what it is. Okay? But it is a banned word for your writing purposes.
Oh.
Okay, now well. Here's the tricky part. Well can be an adjective or an adverb. So Addison, can you read that little blurb under well?
Like the first one,
John Carter. Focus.
the first blurb,
Yes.
as an adverb, well modifies action verbs. Use it to describe how an action is done. She sings well, Emily plays the part well. Thanks to his new glasses, Finn sees well.
Okay. So well is an adverb. It's going to answer the question how. How does she sing? Well. How does she play the part? Well. How does he see? Well. Okay, so when it's an adverb, and I write how out to the side. When it's an adjective, Eli, can you read that next little blurb?
Where are we at?
We're right here.
Where?
As an adjective, well means in good health or satisfactory. Kate is well today, all is well in the world.
Okay, so here's the tricky part. Kate is well today. Is a linking verb. So you want to think well is a predicate adjective. That is a predicate adjective. So the linking verb is actually going to be your clue. But you can only use it when you're referring to health. So you wouldn't say Kate is good today if you're talking about her physical health. You would say Kate is well today. Okay? All is good in the world? No, that would be wrong grammar. You would say all is well in the world. Okay, so if somebody asks you how you are, it's okay to say I'm well or I'm good. I'm well means you're healthy. I'm good means you're happy. Anything with health is well. So let's just go through and do this together. Number one, Matt, would you write good or well?
They danced well at party.
Very good. So write well in. Number two, Aiden.
Why does a bagel with strawberry cream cheese taste so good?
That's right. Okay, so again, you've got a linking verb. Good is the adjective. Tracy, number three.
Brian and Jake were happy to be partners again. They always work well together.
They work well. How do they work? They work well. So that's an adverb. John Carter, number four.
You don't need to yell. I can hear you very well.
Okay, so how can I hear you? Well. So well is an adverb. Okay, number five, Mariah.
The ice cream sandwiches look good to us.
Looked good to us. Okay, so we are using banned words, but I want you to understand the grammatical difference. So how do they look?
To us.
Good. Looked is a linking verb. Good is a predicate adjective. Number six, Andrew. Lindsay?
Lindsay always has her good, Lindsay always has several good ideas
So good is an adjective. Good is always an adjective. And in that case, you're like, of course. It would sound weird to say well ideas. Okay, Dominic, number seven. Okay, so again, you need an adjective there. It's got to be good. Okay, number seven, eight.
Jacob did not feel good. No. Yeah.
So good sounds right, but this is talking
Feel
about
well.
health.
Well.
Did not feel well. His stomach hurt and he had a fever. Number nine, Ian.
Alice got an A on her math test, which made her feel really good.
Good. Okay. And then number 10, Charlotte.
I hope everything goes well tomorrow, said Fred.
Okay, how do I want everything to go well? Okay, so then you just have to write one sentence using good, one using well. Okay, so there'll be something like this where you just have to identify where do I use good, where do I use well. Does anybody have any questions about that? Nope. Okay, so we are really getting into kind of the review part. And so what we're going to do here, this last adverb, this is the last worksheet you'll have before you get a review sheet tomorrow. This is adverbs 3A, and we're going to practice phrasal verbs. Can anybody remind me, what is a phrasal verb? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Dominic.
Is that like when you have words, and like those adverbs, or like a helping verb and then a main verb?
Yes, but there's one type of word, Mariah.
So it's where a preposition works together with a verb, and it's basically you know it's one of those because it will replace it with another word.
Yes. Oh, that was excellent. Okay, preposition works with a verb to create its own unique meaning, and the way you know it's a phrasal verb is it can be replaced by another verb. So exercise B, you're underlining the phrasal verbs. I just wanted you to have some more practice of that before the test. That's going to be pretty straightforward. Exercise A, you are bracketing the prepositional phrases and you're labeling whether they're adjectival or adverbial. So you need to have the adverb questions in your mind and the adjective questions in your mind, and it is tricky. So, work on this. This one is actually going to be due for just a completion grade tomorrow. Becca?
What is a phrasal verb again?
A phrasal verb is a verb and a preposition that work together to create a verb. Okay? And you've got that in notes. So we've got, what do we have? 5-10 minutes? You guys can work on this?
Will you go outside?
I will have to ask Mrs. Colt when we're gonna take the break. Oh, no way, we have 10 minutes. 10 minutes, yes. Okay, so I really think that if you focus, you should be able to do this and not have homework tonight, which would be lovely for you.